Welcome to my cozy channel. I separated all my markers and pens by color, and I chose my favorites to share with you. I'll show you what each of them are. Let's start with green. This is from the Dollar Tree, and that is an electric green. This is going to be a slow, cozy vlog, just so you know. Then we have this beautiful sage green from Sharpie Note. It's actually a highlighter. Runs a little on the blue side, but I like the color sage green. This one is a Staedtler. Yep. Tri Plus fine liner. I love the way that one writes. It's just smooth. It's easy to write with. Good for journaling. I love this set. It's like retro or vintage set from Rytec, 0.5 fine. But all of them have this really pretty vintage look to it. And look, it's almost like a sage green. Absolutely adore this pen. The whole set. This one also came as a set. It's the Le Pen. And I don't know what color it is. We'll go with sage green again. The pen is more marker than a pen, but it's very thin. I love it. This comes from that vintagey type collection. And this one is the green. I love how thin it is and how smooth it is. Now we'll go to browns. I didn't have a lot of browns, but I'm going to start with this side. This is from Art Marker. This side is Calligraphy. So Calligraphy is kind of cool. You put it at an angle and you can write your letters in a calligraphy style manner without having to actually know calligraphy. And this is just a fine point. It still works really well as well. Okay. And the last brown we have is from Le Pen. But this is almost a little bit of a muddy brown. You see how it's a bit darker, almost like a teddy bear brown or an actual bear brown. But those are the greens and the browns. There's two greens I didn't show. This one is from Copic, and you know these ones have numbers. G85. This reminds me of your Plane in the Forest is a forest fairy. And it is dual-sided, so you have that one. And you have this. If you don't know, Copic markers are alcohol markers. One of the more famous brands, but there are other brands out there. And this, I ended up putting it in the green area, even though I guess it's more blue. And it's a deep, deep, rich turquoise. I love that one. This one is from the brand Brush Marker. And you could see that there's liquid in there, which is probably why it makes it such a deep color. The next categories are the pinks and the reds. One of my favorite, if not my favorite category, followed by the purples. I'll start with this jelly roll. This with jelly, but spelled with a G, made in Japan. I believe I bought this at, what is that home goods place? It's Japanese. It's not Daiso. I feel like it starts with the M. Anyway, I can't think of the place. So there's the jelly roll. And look, it's like a glitter-ish pink. I love that pink. Then we have this one. I couldn't tell if it was brown or maroon, but I love that color. Again, it looks a little bit vintagey. From the vintage collection from earlier, I have this deep red. It's like a scarlet red. And it doesn't say what color it is, but Rytec. I'm telling you, every single one in this collection, completely gorgeous. If you're into vintage like I am, I have on like a sage brown green shirt. It's hard to tell. Not sage. It's like a brownish. I don't know what you would call this. So I do like these colors. I don't just like pink. This one's an acrylic marker. I love both the color, but I also love how deep how saturated it is. Sometimes when those acrylic markers, it doesn't come out. This one does come out. Another from the Sharpie Note collection, or S Note. See Sharpie S Note? Is this pink one. I like it because it's almost like a muted pink, like a soft pink. I don't know if you could tell, this is a little bit hard to tell, but I do, in addition to liking vintage colors, I like soft grayish. I was gonna say I like dusty rose, mauve, those like dusty type colors. Hence why you probably do go towards sage. This one is, let's see, this probably has a name. It might not have a name. Art number 8819 from Stabilo Point 88. I know I got this one at Michael's. By the Michael's checkout or on the way to checkout, they have a lot of pens. A lot of times they're like $1.99. Look at that beautiful, beautiful maroon. And you can find yourself a good pen there for around $2. And then I have this one from Le Pen again. Remember, it's part of that set. This is almost like a fuchsia color. Ooh, look how beautiful that color is. If you're a pink fan, I think you would like this. And then last but not least of the pink, I do have neon pink. Remember, these are just my favorites. I still have so many other pens and markers in all of these colors, but these are just the favorites. I have 2 or 3 more categories. The last 2 are the purples and the blacks and grays. So let's start with the purples. This one is a neat one because it is a distress marker, meaning after you mark with it, you can actually take a paintbrush, a wet paintbrush, and make it into a watercolor look. And of course, it's a really pretty lavender. On the other end is a finer tip. I'll show you how that one writes. That one might be going out, or it's very, very low. Actually, I don't think it's going out. It's just very light. Here's another Copic. I don't know if it's Copic or Copic, but it's Sketch BV01. Dual-sided as well. You have the brush tip on this side. It's like a very muted one. When I told you I like sometimes more of a muted, dusty color, I do like that one. And then this side is your classic marker. But it's really nice when you don't want a ton of color, but you do want that color somewhere when you're coloring or you're highlighting and drawing. This one's from Sharpie. It's a permanent marker, very thin. And this is how that one looks. Beautiful color. It almost looks a little similar to that one. Then we have, just like the pink one earlier, another acrylic marker. It's Draw Like Nobody's Watching. I guess that's the brand. A lot of these I have purchased myself over the years. Oh, look how deep that color is. But some of them I got from the community studio and they were donated. That was one of them, along with the pink. Here's a Copic one. And this is the color V15. Copic Sketch. Sort of a purpley, almost violet. Oh yeah. Again, like with a bit of brownish hint to it. This is the brush side. Love that. It has a little bit of reddish brown, but not overly saturated. This brand is really nice. I have this in maroon too, but I think I need to look for it. Anyway, so this is Precise V5 RT. This whole line is really smooth writing. Ballpoint, I don't know if it's a ballpoint, but whatever. Look, that's almost a classic purple. And the way that it writes is just very precise. And you definitely won't have it skipping, so I love that. I'm trying to see. Oh, it's from the brand Pilot. And then I have this one. It's dual-sided art marker. What I liked about this, besides the fact that What I liked about this, besides the fact that it does write like this with the thinner marker, very precise, is like the other one, it has this calligraphy tip. So you can get the different sizes as you write. It almost makes your handwriting look cooler, more fancy. And last but not least in this category is Copic BV34. Here's what the brush side looks like. Almost resembles gray. Very soft, very soothing. You can see how it almost kind of looks like my wall, even though this is more purple. And then this is the classic tip. And with alcohol markers, you could see if I go darker, like I press harder, it'll be darker. It's really good for layering. And then we have the black and gray category. Let's test out this mechanical pencil first. Something about this gives the vintage feel, from Pentel 0.7 millimeters. I don't know what it is about it. It feels different than your classic, you know, school mechanical pencil. And I mean, it just writes however, but something about the look of this makes me feel professional. Then what color do you think this is? It almost looks white. It's not, it's gray. But it's a very light gray. And I could see that coming in handy as you're doing some sort of shading or shadows. And then you have the opposite side, which I do not see myself using anytime soon. It's way too light. For the microns, I have all the sizes of microns, or at least whatever came in my set. I chose these 4. I will say the numbers as I show them. So this is Micron 05. Micron 05 writes like this. It's nice and thin, but has doesn't have any skipping, even though it looks like it because I'm doing it at an angle. This is good for drawing thin lines. This one is Micron PN. Instead of having a number, has letters. I don't know. Look at the tip. It's almost different, almost like it's pen-like. That one writes very smooth. I could see this being good for handwriting, for letter writing, while this one feels a little bit more like drawing. This one is Micron 02. This was like the first Micron we tested, but even thinner. Good for drawing. I could imagine if you're doing hatch lines. Hatch lines is like, you know, like this. That would actually be really nice because it's super, super thin. The last Micron I have here, or I guess they call it Prismacolor 3 archival ink. It's another calligraphy pen. This time I'm gonna be more intentional about writing to show you its potential. Now I am going fast and usually want to write a little bit slower than this, but you could see how it looks kind of fancy. Oh, that's funny. I didn't mean to put my finger there and it didn't even come off. So that is good. And since it's archival, I can see why that did not smear. But that was their Prismacolor 3. Last but not least is these 3 pens, these 3. Oh, look, I like these ones so much. When I was testing, I didn't even notice they were the same ones. So let's start there because that obvious means I do really enjoy this. This is from the brand Stride Rio in medium. I don't know how I ended up with 2 of them, but it does. I think this one is the one that writes like a dream. It's incredibly smooth. It doesn't tug at all on the paper. I am using premium paper here, by the way. Oh yeah, that is very, very smooth. So highly recommend this one. I don't remember where I got that one. And the last but not least, super classic, but I have repurchased this time and time again, the Sharpie. And I get in this champagne gold. Sharpie, let's see if it has another name. I don't know. Don't know what it's called, but it's a pen. And can't go wrong. I think it's ballpoint, so it is not as smooth as this. You could feel a little bit of tugging on the paper, but you may prefer that over something that's just glides along. Anyway, this was really fun to test out all my pens and pens and markers to come up with my favorite ones out of each color. Which one did you like? I think you should test your pens and show me what your favorites are. Now, I'm going to journal. I recorded all of that and realized I never showed you my blue collection. So thank you for staying on a few minutes longer. This is my blue collection, at least the favorites of it. Let's go with the classic blue. It's a fine liner from the brand Fineliner. And this is what the blue looks like. Just a nice deep blue in a thin marker, but good for letter writing. Here's another one from that vintage collection in a deep blue. You can tell how it's like a muted blue, almost black, almost gray, like the stormy sky. This one is a fun one from Papermate called Ink Joy. Isn't that a pretty blue? This is what this one looks like. Oh, that's almost a teal color. That's how it comes out. It also is very smooth. This one's from Prismacolor. Prismacolor Premier in navy blue. I love a good navy blue. This side is wide, almost black. That's how dark the blue is. This side is with a fine point. Love it. Nice matte blue. Then we have a Copic marker in the color B95. This also feels like a muted grayish blue, one of my favorites because it's almost a slate blue. Not quite, it leans more blue than slate. And then the brush side. And remember, these are alcohol markers. Two more blues. We have another one from Copic in B97. This is B95, right? So this is my little family. I love this like bluish, muted, grayish look to it. Oh, look at that one. That one's a darker version of that. And here's the brush tip. Beautiful. That color palette would go well together. You could tell I have like this muted feel to everything I do. And then last but not least is from the Rytech from that vintage collection in their blue. I can't tell if I did this in the green selection or not. I might have, but it does lean teal. So yeah. These are the two sides that wait. Is this the one I did with you? Yes. That's one side, and then this is the other side of these beautiful markers. Thank you for watching. I can officially start my journaling now.